Now I'm going to work on the attachments of the employee. When you select two or more files as the attachments of an employee, the application must have the ability to upload all of them in the same request. And the attachments of the employee based on the requirements of this application must be previewed here. So, for the attachments of the employee, I need to create another directive. I go to the imp_register.html partial view, and here, as you see, I have an input type file. For this element, I need to create a directive. And this directive must also be an attribute directive. I call this directive attachment file. This anonymous function returns an object. The restrict property of this object is going to be set to A, which indicates that this directive will also be an attribute directive. Inside the body of this function, first I create a variable. I call it model, which is optional here. And then I parse the attributes.attachment file and store it into that model variable. Then I create another variable. I call it assign and set it to model.assign. Then I add the change listener to the element. Inside the body of this function, first of all, I'm going to create an empty array. I'm going to call the $apply method of the scoop, and I pass an anonymous function as a parameter to this method. Inside the body of this anonymous function, I call the assign function and pass two parameters to this function. The first parameter is going to be the scoop, and the second parameter is going to be the files array. I save the changes, go to my partial view. Here, I use that attribute directive. And this preview attachments has been created inside a controller. So now, inside the body of this function, I'm going to first create a variable. I call it files and set it to the event.target.files. Then I create an array on the scoop, an empty array.